I get hello. I started this gangsta shit, and it's the mother thanks I
Yeah. Yup. Welcome. Good morning. This is Comic Artist Pro Secrets. You're listening to Ethan Van Sciver, great big Star Wars fan. Let's look at Collider today. This is kind of an interesting article. Mark Hamill, who, by the way, is doing Yeoman's duty, having Star Wars stuff to say every single day, and I think this is a big part of what Lucasfilm needs and wants is to constantly have Star Wars stuff, daily news, daily tidbits, leading up to the disastrous Star Wars Episode 9. So it's important that Mark Hamill always have something to say. I mean, yesterday he claimed that the lightsaber that was going on auction for $200,000 was a fake, a fraud, a phony, that the real one actually cut into his delicate hands, and they had to make one that had foam on it to protect his paws. That was an interesting tidbit. Today he's talking about his role in Star Wars Episode 9, and again, the super secret. Everything is super secret. Red pages. If everything is super secret, then how come so much of it is getting out through Mike Zero? That's what I want to know. Here is the miserable, sad failure that is Luke Skywalker from The Last Jedi. Look at that face. It's so inspiring. It's also inspiring. Spoilers ahead if you haven't seen Star Wars The Last Jedi. Wow. I wish that these were spoilers for me. Mark Hamill, iconic star of the beloved Star Wars franchise, has never been one to mince words when it comes to promoting the current crop of space fantasy films. As Luke Skywalker, Hamill was kind of grandfathered in when Disney gobbled up the rights to the franchise and its many, many branches, so he got a little more latitude to speak freely than the younger cast members who have signed multi-picture deals. Which presumably include an ironclad secrecy stipulation that promises the penalty of death should it be violated. Yeah, absolutely. Mark Hamill has been hilarious through this. Absolutely hilarious. He don't give a darn. He knows that nobody else, well, he thought that nobody else could play Luke Skywalker. And therefore, he could say whatever he wanted to say. He could roll his eyes at Rian Johnson and humiliate him in interviews on, CNN was it? That was great. God, that interview was fantastic. He can say these kind of underhanded, beautifully rendered sarcastic things about Star Wars. I admire him. I think he's hilarious. I think he's very, very funny. And this is the thing. He doesn't care. What are you gonna do? Are you gonna further disgrace Luke Skywalker? Are you gonna not make me be in this movie? Gee, no, not the Briar Patch. Yeah, Mark Hamill's free to say whatever he wants, and in the meantime, the younger kids, you'll see a lot less content, a lot less daily stuff coming out from the likes of Finn, Poe, Rey, and unfortunately, the lovable Kelly Marie Tran, who we haven't really heard from in months and months and months. I want to know what she's up to, but I can't because she took down her Instagram page because of alt-right trolls. Damn them, allegedly, according to some. Okay, so even now, despite the fact that Luke has gone the way of his forebears, Hamill is still free to reign, let me try that again. Hamill still has free reign to comment on the behind-the-scenes operation of the upcoming and untitled Star Wars Episode 9 as he sees fit. By the way, the rumored title is Son of Darkness, or Soy of Dorkness. That's the rumored title, but all of these things leak out, and they don't mean anything. Actually, there are troll operations. I know you'll find this hard to believe, but there are troll operations within Star Wars that deliberately leak fake news to the media in order to just discredit them. That's how petty and weird Lucasfilm has become. That's how petty and weird Star Wars fandom and the people who have Star Wars websites have become. It is pretty pathetic. We're going to talk about that in my fourth. By the way, I don't know if you've seen Star Wars Sex Scandal 3 that I just put out, but Star Wars Phantom Sex Scandal 4 is going to discuss that in detail. It should be pretty fun. So, Son of Darkness might not be the title. Probably not. In a chat with Entertainment Weekly as an adjacent conversation to their coverage of Hamill's current project, Nightfall, the actor not only commented on his voiceover work for the upcoming film, he also teased a bigger part to play. I still have to go over and do Episode 9. Most of the parts I have coming up beside Star Wars are voiceover. There's one big one Very high profile. I can announce now that I'm really excited about. Wait a second, I still have to go over and do episode 9. I thought he was over there already. We saw him shaving his face. I thought that's what that was for. Man, it's weirder and weirder. Most of the parts I have coming up besides Star Wars are voiceover, and then he says there's one big one, very high profile I can't announce yet that I'm really... Okay, so he's doing voiceovers for stuff, essentially. And teased a bigger part to play. I don't know what that bigger part's going to be. Before he got too carried away, he diverted to a rundown of the increased secrecy and the security surrounding the new film script, especially compared to his experience on the first film back in the late 1970s. He says, you know how it is these days, every time you sign NDAs. I remember back when I read the first Star Wars script, I was like, wow, that's the goofiest thing I ever read. I gave it to my best friend to read, and he said... And I said, what do you think of it? And he said, it's really wild. It's crazy. Can I give it to Meredith? Sure, go ahead. It went around to all my friends. Of course, back then, nobody cared. Nowadays, it's like working for some secret deep state government organization, like being in the CIA. They're going to send rewrites over to Prague on this dark red paper that gives you a headache to read. The dark red paper in question is a tactic previously used by J.J. Abrams' last go-around for the franchise, Star Wars The Force Awakens. That's amazing. So probably, yeah, you can't photocopy it because it's on this crimson red paper with black ink. That is kind of the way things work. Also, they'll assign you script. You'll have one script, and it has your name all over it. Okay, so it's like this script is property of Mark Hamill. If anyone, if this script leaks, we're going to execute Mark Hamill. It'll say that all over the page, so that if somebody gets a hold of the script somehow and it leaks, it's unavoidable to figure out where it came from. They will trace it right back to you. The one thing that I'm gleaning from this article that's surprising is that Mark Hamill has not yet done any of the work for Star Wars Episode 9. To me, that kind of kills the idea that he shaved his face a few months ago to be euthaned digitally. That was a rumor that was going around. They were going to digitally euthan Mark Hamill to show scenes that would have taken place in the original trilogy. And that would have made sense because J.J. Abrams, of course, loves flashbacks. He loves telling stories by going backwards. He moves forwards by revealing things from the past, and that's his storytelling methodology that he certainly made use of in Lost and other projects. So that apparently isn't the case. Now, shooting for Star Wars Episode 9 ends February of 2019, so if they haven't shot any of the Luke Skywalker stuff yet, I guess it's got to happen pretty soon. He says, they wound up letting me keep a script when we were doing The Last Jedi, but I had to lock it up in a safe every night and then carry it with me and never let it out of my sight. And I can understand why. If a script gets out, it ruins it for everyone. Yeah, Mike Zero. Not so much for the upcoming Untitled Trilogy capper. They're going to fly the rewrites over with somebody from the company. They're going to come and give it to me and wait for me to read it before I give it back. So no pressure. You can't even keep it overnight, but that's the way it is now. All makes sense. I mean, Titan security. I think it's safe to say that pretty much all of the leaks that are coming out are probably fake. They're probably fake news. They're probably false, and they're probably deliberately instigated by Lucasfilm, by people within Lucasfilm, to give people the runaround and the wrong idea. Now, I'm still going to report on these leaks as they come out because chronicling the weirdness that is SJW, Disney, Lucasfilm, Star Wars is amazing. I mean, it really is something else. Everything from the people working within Lucasfilm to its leadership, to all of the problems and malfunctions that are going on behind the scenes, firing directors, firing screenwriters, all the way to the press that Lucasfilm manipulates like puppets, and the way they treat the fandom. This phenomenon is part of why I've got to keep doing these documentaries. I've got to keep doing these videos and just explain all this to people, because it's a very, very weird thing that's grown out of a movie that a young man named George Lucas made so many years ago. All right, so far Mark Hamill has spent about a week doing work for Star Wars Episode 9 and plans to return. Oh, so he did do a week's worth of shooting. Maybe that is. Plans to return as needed during his time shooting Nightfall. The History series is set to return with Season 2, blah, blah, blah. Star Wars Episode 9, which should get a title in the months ahead, Please Not Star Wars Endgame. Why does everybody hate Avengers Endgame? I like that title. I thought that title was cool. I mean, it's a little bland, but almost every... I don't know. I mean, anything with the word infinity in it is bland to me. I'm having worked in comics for so long. So I don't know. I like Avengers Endgame, especially considering the fact that everything that we're seeing so far about it is so dire and so brutally ominous. I dig it. I think it points to extinction. Avengers Extinction. Oh wait, no, that was Reservoir. That was Reservoir. Resident Evil. Okay, so in any case, yes. So he's done about a week's worth of work. Maybe that is why he shaved. I hope so. I really do want to see the peculiar spectacle of a CGI youthened Mark Hamill being young Luke Skywalker again. I pray that J.J. Abrams actually puts that in the movie. There's so many things that about Star Wars Episode 9 that we know for a fact, like Lando Calrissian is in it, for example, that there are enough tidbits that I have to see this. Just for the numerous spectacles that are promised therein. I'm legitimately excited about going to see Star Wars Episode 9. Is it going to be a travesty and a disaster? Probably, and probably even if it's okay, even if it's a decent film, it's not going to be able to rescue the trilogy as a whole. I mean, you can watch Star Wars 4 through 6, and it is, beautifully paced. There's some little problems within it, but it still holds up. And even the prequel trilogy, little problems in it, but it still holds up as a cohesive narrative. Episodes 7, 8, and 9, I don't see how, because of 8, and because of the weirdness in 7, killing Han Solo was weird. I don't see how it's going to hold up as a cohesive narrative, but I'm excited to see J.J. Abrams take a swing at it. Alright, thanks everyone. If you like this video, please do subscribe, and please like the video, and stick around. We've got more stuff coming up. Bye-bye. Hey, want to follow me on Twitter? Okay, cool. I'm at Ethan Van Sciver. Talk to you there. Show your friends you support independent comics while showing the world who you back in the fight against the swarm with the brand new Cyberfrog t-shirt from Crypto Fashion and Comic Artist Pro Secret. Sizes come in small to 5XL, and take your choice of colors between navy blue, white, and black. And if you haven't yet, go ahead and order the Fandom Menace, Go Get Daddy's Belt, Tico, and Soilo t-shirts as well. Link is below in the description. You're going to look great. People love these shirts. They fit wonderfully. Thank you very much. If you enjoyed this video and want to become part of this community, subscribe to this channel by clicking the Laughing Man face logo right on your screen. Ring the bell for notifications as well. You'll never miss a live chat. And stay tuned, another video by Comic Artist Pro Secrets is coming right up.